Welcome back. Let's get into our Learning the Word segment. We are in Genesis. Okay, where did we leave off? Let me make sure. I think we go through 1911. That's where we left off. 1911, guys. We're talking about Lot. Okay? The last time we did our study in Genesis, we were talking about how these men came to Abraham, and he dealt with them and fed them and gave them a place to, let me see if I've got it right here. I may have used this one. Oh, that's a long time ago. Yeah. Okay. We're going to start at verse 12. Okay? That's right. 1912. Make myself a note here. All right, are you ready? Let's get back into our study. We were talking about Lot. They came to these three men, two angels, and the angel of the Lord himself came to Abraham. He gave them food and shelter and water for their feet and tended to them and then sent them on their way. And Abraham was asking, will you destroy the city, if there's several righteous there? Lord says he won't. So we're in Sodom here. The angels are in Sodom. Lot has brought him into his house. Now, the people have gathered around Lot's house because they want these two men that are visitors. And Lot's like, no, don't be like that. Don't be wicked. Here, take my daughters. He's saying they haven't known men, but they're both married. Okay. Visitors, it's really, really important that when somebody comes under the safety of your roof, that you make sure they stay safe, even at the cost of your own family. It's just really important. The rules of hospitality. Okay? So in verse 11, they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness. These angels did. Both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. They couldn't even find Lot's door because they were struck with blindness. Now let's get into our study in verse 12. And the men said unto Lot, hast thou here any besides son-in-law, and thy sons and thy daughters, and whatsoever thou hast in the city, bring them out of this place. For we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxen great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord hath sent us to destroy it. Wreckage, huh? Well, they're going to have to flee. But the reason they live there in the first place is because Lot's wife wants to live in the city. She loves the city. She likes to live in the city, and that's why they're there. Okay? And you're going to find that it turns out to be kind of a bad thing for her. In verse 14, and Lot went out and spake unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters. Now, did you notice he just told the crowd that his daughters have not known man? He lied to them and said, up, get you out of this place, for the Lord will destroy this city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. They didn't believe him. They're like, oh, seriously? They're not believing anything he says. And when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, arise, take thy wife and thy two daughters which are here. Now, why their two daughters were there is they probably couldn't go home because of the mob outside, okay? Lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city. So the sons-in-laws are left behind. And while he lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand and upon the hand of his wife and upon the hand of his two daughters. They took them all by the hand. And that may be what happens when God sends his angels to gather us. As they come, they take us by the hand, the Lord being merciful unto him. And they brought him forth and set him without the city. Now, what it's saying, the Lord being merciful unto him, Lot was the one that was righteous in the situation. His wife, it doesn't, she's one like the sons-in-laws, you know, except she's seeing what's in the house. She's like, she doesn't want to leave. It says here, they took the hand of the wife and the daughters. See, that's for Lot's sake, not for their sake, because they're not anxious to leave. They want to stay. And upon the hand of his two daughters, and the Lord being merciful unto him, and they brought him forth and set him without the city. In verse 17, and it came to pass when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, escape for thy life. That's pretty serious words, isn't it? Escape for thy life. He's saying, run. Look not behind thee. Don't turn around and look back. Neither stay thou in all the plain. He's saying, don't stay out there where you're exposed. Escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. So that's scary, isn't it? And Lot said unto them, oh, not so, my Lord. He's like, oh, tell me that's not, tell me this isn't happening. Behold now, verse 19, thy servant hath found grace in thy sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercy, which thou hast shown unto me in saving my life. And I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me and I die. He's whining. He's saying, I can't run that far. I'm going to die. In verse 20, behold now, this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. He's talking about Zoar. Oh, let me escape thither. Is it not a little one? He's saying, it's just a little city, okay? Oh, let me escape thither. Is it not a little one? And my soul shall live. And he said unto him, see, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also, that I will not overthrow this city for the which thou hast spoken. Haste thee, escape thither. For I cannot do anything until they'll become thither. So the angels are saying, we can't destroy the city until you get out of the way. Therefore, the name of the city was called Zoar. So Lot and his family are fleeing the city. The sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar. So they're leaving Sodom. They're not looking back. They're entering into Zoar. And evidently you can see Sodom from Zoar. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. So this was bad. Fire and brimstone rained down from the sky. From the Lord out of heaven upon Sodom. And he overthrew those cities and all the plain, see, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and that which grew upon the ground. So everything was obliterated. But his wife looked back from behind him. So see, they're running. They're running away from this city that is being consumed behind them. But her heart is in that city. It's not with God that's ahead to where she can keep her eyes focused on what's ahead. She does not want to leave that city. She liked it there. She didn't want to leave. So what happens is she looks back, but his wife, in verse 26, but his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. She was told not to look back. You cannot look upon the sight of God destroying the city. That's why they said, don't look back. Don't look back. But his wife looked back from behind him. So Lot's ahead of her, right? She looks back and she became a pillar of salt. As a matter of fact, that pillar of salt stands to this very day. And Abraham got up early in the morning to the place where he stood before the Lord. And he looked towards Sodom and Gomorrah and toward all the land of the plain, and beheld, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of a furnace, billowing like a volcano. And it came to pass when God destroyed the cities of the plain, that God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, when he overthrew the cities in which Lot dwelt. Lot's life was saved not because he was righteous, but because he was Abraham's nephew. God did that for Abraham, not for Lot, because Lot was up to his eyeballs in sin in the city. In verse 30, and Lot went up out of Zoar and dwelt in the mountain, and his 2 daughters with him. For he feared to dwell in Zoar. And he dwelt in a cave, he and his 2 daughters. So they're living in a cave at this point. And the firstborn said unto the younger, our father is old, and there is not a man in the earth to come in unto us after the manner of all the earth. So Lot's daughters are sitting there saying, everything's destroyed. Everyone is destroyed. And all it is us and our father. That's what they think. They think that they think that their father and the 2 of them are the only people still alive on the earth. That's what they're thinking. Which would explain their actions coming up next that just make you want to hurl. You know what I mean? Okay. So in verse 32, come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him that we may preserve seed of our father. Gross. Disgusting. Horrible. Unspeakable. Okay? But from their perspective, they are the only people left alive on the whole earth. After what they just saw. They saw these cities, not just one, Sodom and Gomorrah. They see that the whole plain around them is consumed. They're hiding in a cave. And they had left Zoar, and they must think Zoar is destroyed as well. And it says here that what they're thinking is that humans aren't going to go on beyond us. And so they get this sicko idea in their heads. In verse 33, and they made their father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father. Ooh. And he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. So he had no clue. He was out of it. And it came to pass on the morrow that the firstborn said unto the younger, behold, I lay yesternight with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also. And thou go in and lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. They're thinking, this is the only man left on the planet. And as disgusting as it is, the human race is not going to continue unless we do this. That's what they're thinking. But I don't know. I'm thinking it's better just for the human race to die, don't you? In verse 35, and they made their father drink wine that night also. And the younger arose and lay with him, and he perceived not when she laid down, nor when she arose. Thus were both the daughters of Lot with child by their father. I know, and you think that we got trouble in our time too. Well, they had some too. And the firstborn bare a son, and called his name Moab. The same is the father of the Moabites unto this day. Now, Moab is Jordan. Okay, the Jordanians, it is one of the Arab races there. And the younger, she also bare a son and called his name Ben Ami. The same is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day. You know what? Ammon, Jordan is the capital of Jordan. That is Ammon. Okay, that's where it was named from this younger son here of the daughter of Lot. He is the father of the children, the son of the daughter of Lot is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day. So you've got Palestinians, Jordanians, these are Arabs, okay? Are we ready to dive into chapter 20? Does anybody have any questions thus far? Let me go look and see. Now, let's see. Janine says, the word says that the daughters have not known man, so how can you say that he lied? It doesn't say that. Well, I think we went through there and you saw that, right? Hopefully I answered that one already for you. Yeah, he told the men of Sodom that were gathered at his door that his daughters had not known man, so he lied. And then you find out he's got 2 sons-in-law. All right, let's get into chapter 20 of Genesis. Verse 1, and Abraham journeyed from thence toward the south country, and dwelled between Kadesh and Shur, and sojourned in Gerar. Now, imagine when the daughters of Lot find out that they aren't the only people left on the earth. Sorry. Oh, they put themselves through that torture for nothing, didn't they? Okay. And Abraham said of Sarah, his wife, she is my sister. This gets pretty twisted, doesn't it? All right. She was his sister. She was his sister. I think they had maybe different mothers and or different fathers, one of the two. I think it was different fathers, same mother. Okay. And Abraham said of Sarah, his wife, she is my sister. And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. But God came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, behold, thou art but a dead man. Uh-oh. For the woman which thou hast taken, for she is a man's wife. But Abimelech had not come near her. And he said, Lord, wilt thou slay also a righteous nation? He's like, well, I didn't know. But Abraham's always claiming that she is his sister when it's going to save his life. But when it's, he claims that a few times. But it is true. He's telling the truth. She is his half-sister, okay? But he just doesn't admit that she's also his wife when his life is threatened. In verse 5, said he not unto me, she is my sister? And even she herself said, he is my brother. In the integrity of my heart and innocency of my hands have I done this. And God said unto him in a dream, yea, I know that thou didst this in the integrity of thy heart, for I also withheld thee from sinning against me. So that's why Abimelech never did touch her. Therefore suffered I thee not to touch her. So God didn't allow him to do that. Now therefore restore the man his wife, for he is a prophet, and he shall pray for thee, and thou shalt live. And if thou restore her not, know thou that thou shalt surely die, thou and all that are thine. Oh, he's anxious to give her back now. Therefore Abimelech rose early in the morning and called all his servants and told all these things in their ears. And the men were sore afraid. Then Abimelech called Abraham and said unto him, What hast thou done unto us? And what have I offended thee, that thou hast brought on me and on my kingdom a great sin? Thou hast done deeds unto me that ought not to be done. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, What sawest thou that thou hast done this thing? He said, why did you do that? What made you do that? And Abraham said, Because I thought, surely the fear of God is not in this place. Well, that was his mistake, wasn't it? And they will slay me for my wife's sake, because she's so beautiful. That's what he was afraid of in Egypt when Pharaoh took his wife, that Pharaoh would kill him and take his wife from him. And yet, indeed, she is my sister. She is the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother. So they had the same father and different mothers. And she became my wife. So it is, they had the same father and different mothers. Okay. And it came to pass when God caused me to wander from my father's house, that I said unto her, This is thy kindness which thou shalt show unto me. At every place whither we shall come, say of me, He is my brother. And Abimelech took sheep and oxen and men servants and women servants, and gave them unto Abraham, and restored him Sarah his wife. And Abimelech said, Behold, my hand is before thee. Dwell where it pleaseth thee. So he's not going to be in danger from Abimelech. And unto Sarah he said, Behold, I have given thy brother 1,000 pieces of silver. Behold, he is to thee a covering of the eyes. Unto all that are with thee, and with all other, thus she was reproved. So Abraham prayed unto God, and God healed Abimelech and his wife and his maidservants, and they bare children. How about that? For the Lord had fast closed up all the wombs of the house of Abimelech because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. So they left off bearing. And the Lord, he lowered the boom, didn't he? He certainly did. Let's keep going here. And the Lord, in chapter 21, verse 1, And the Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived, and bare Abraham a son in his old age. She was 90, and he was 99, at the set time of which God had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of the son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac, being 8 days old, as God had commanded him. Do you know why they circumcised on the 8th day? Because it takes 8 days for the vitamin K to build up in a newborn's system to where their blood can clot. If they circumcised them before that, they would bleed out. And nowadays, they give newborns a shot of vitamin K in their thigh shortly after birth. And what that does is it speeds up their ability for their blood to clot. And that way they can go ahead and circumcise them before the 8th day, before they leave the hospital to go home. Okay? But that's why they waited 8 days. Because the vitamin K had to build up in the child's system to where their blood would clot. And it took 8 days to do that. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born unto him. He's 100 years old. Sarah's 91, I guess. And Sarah said, God hath made me to laugh, so that all that hear will laugh with me. Here she is, 91 years old, and she's got a newborn. You think you're tired, okay? I can't even imagine keeping up with a toddler in your 90s, can you? Good thing they had lots of servants and stuff. Now, Sarah said, God hath made me to laugh so that all that hear will laugh with me. And in verse 7 of chapter 21 in Genesis, and she said, who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah should have given children suck? For I have borne him a son in his old age. Nobody ever thought that would ever happen. And the child grew and was weaned. And Abraham made a great feast the same day that Isaac was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, which she had borne unto Abraham, mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac. Well, Sarah was the one who pushed for Abraham to accept Hagar as a wife and have a child for her, but it didn't work out like she hoped. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. He loves his son Ishmael, but he can see that there's a problem. Oh, we're out of time. I love you guys. God bless you. Well, I hope to see you again. It would be Thursday, should the Lord tarry, here, there, or in the air. And remember, do right and risk the consequences. God bless you.